Even though Deb is looking for a way to get information from Emeka that she could probably use against Emeka in the future if Emeka decide to do anything funny with her. If what Emeka said about Jonathan is true, then Jonathan is not a good friend. Because I mean, how can you call somebody your friend and treat them like this? It is not enough that you just made Emeka feel less of himself as your friend. You insult him as if he's nothing. To be honest, what Jonathan did is very, very bad. Even though we don't support the entitlement mentality of, oh, he's my friend, he's supposed to give me money. I mean, what are friends for if you cannot help your friend in a time of need? The problem that I have with Jonathan, with what he did, is the fact that he has the money to give to Emeka to save the mother's life, but Jonathan decided not to give Emeka that money, but rather he was willing to keep on buying drinks for Emeka. You are insulting Emeka that he's not a man if he does not have 300,000 naira to pay for his mother hospital bill. That you have the money, but you cannot give it to him. Rather, you are using the money to buy drinks, and in front of Emeka, you are sending money to people, sending money to girls, partying up and down. I mean, these are things that really cause a lot of envy. You did not do well. Truth be told, what Jonathan did is very, very wrong. Now the mother is dead. You decided to come and spend 4 million naira for her burial. I mean, what will your friend think of you? You see, sometimes people create enemy without even knowing what they are doing. Because to Jonathan, he might be thinking that, oh, if I keep on pushing Emeka, if I keep on saying all these negative things to him, he might just at least buckle up and start hustling as a man. I mean, maybe I might be able to push him to a point that you begin to do something good with his life, not knowing that he's rather doing more damage than good to Emeka. Now look at what Emeka has done. Emeka has completely destroyed Jonathan. He has brought the big Joe from the stage that he was before down to nothing. Jonathan truly is in more serious trouble than where he is right now, because Hans has decided to take it upon himself. After the discovery that happened, you can imagine how far Emeka has gone in trying to destroy Jonathan. Not only did he go to meet those people and tell them that it is Jonathan that is doing this thing to his own daughter, whereas he was the one doing it. Now all the fingers will be pointed against Jonathan. That is the one that is trying to destroy the daughter's life in the name of teaching her a lesson. Have you seen what happens when you have bad friends around you? With this alone, Clara will never be happy with Jonathan. In fact, she will not want to have anything to do with Jonathan. Just the same way Hanks will be pounding on Jonathan, because Jonathan has really, really touched him where it hurts the most. Emeka and Debbie were actually discussing this whole issue between Jonathan and Emeka, because Debbie is really, really curious. What is bringing this hatred? I was thinking I hated these people, but then the hate that Emeka has towards Jonathan and his wife is something else. I really need to know what is going on. And Emeka said, I'm sorry, I'm going to send you the money, but you see, I'm not going to stop until Jonathan gets on the street and start begging. I am not going to stop. But Debbie was still curious. What exactly is the problem? Why do you hate these people so much? In fact, it's about time that you stop. It is enough. Let's concentrate on Clara's restaurant. Let's just focus on, destroying the restaurant and everything. Leave Jonathan, you have really done enough. Emeka decided to open to Debbie the reason why he's doing all of these things that he's doing. Remember that in the time past, Jonathan was a very big guy. He's the big Joe. He has money. He was really swimming in money. And Emeka has been a very good friend to Jonathan. This is the reason why I feel like what Jonathan did to Emeka is very bad. Because Emeka, from the look of things, if what he is saying right now is true, he has been a very loyal friend to Jonathan. Jonathan called him when he was somewhere enjoying his life, going to club, partying with girls, that the wife is sick, that Emeka should please check on the wife. Emeka decided to go check on the wife. He decided to also spend like 2 days in the hospital with Clara. These are sacrifices that Emeka has done for Jonathan, just for the sake of their friendship, And when Jonathan called him and was trying to explain to him, he said, I'm going to spend time. Yes, I'm going to be here to make sure that your wife is okay before I leave, and which is a very huge sacrifice, because not all friends will do that for you, right? And Deborah was like, you really did this thing for Jonathan. Like, you did this kind of wonderful sacrifice for Jonathan. He said, no, I did all of that and even more. That is not just all. Another reason why I hate Jonathan so much is the fact that my mother was sick. My mother was sick and I went to Big Joe when he came back from the business that gave him a lot of money. I went to Jonathan. I told him, Jonathan, look at, my mom is sick and I'm being asked to deposit 300,000 naira so that my mother can get the best treatment. Please help me with this money. I know that you have this money. But Jonathan said, so you don't have 300,000? Then you don't have any business being a man, because you cannot call yourself a man and you don't have common 300,000 naira in your account to pay for your mother medical bills. So you don't call yourself a man, and I'm not going to give you the money. And this is where I feel that Jonathan is being selfish. This, if you call this guy your friend and he's running to you, I mean, you are doing it for others, right? You are doing it for others. Why can't you just do it for your friend, at least for the sake of the mother? Emeka begged Jonathan, and Jonathan said, I am not going to give you the money. Go and look for money to pay for your mother hospital bills, because I am not going to give you money. In fact, there is a restaurant, a party going on tomorrow. If you want to come along, you are free to tag along. I'm going to pay everything. So if Jonathan was willing to pay for Emeka's party bills, to pay for drinks that Emeka is going to take there, but he is not willing to give Emeka 300,000 naira to save the mother's life. That is pure wickedness. I mean, it is pure wickedness. Emeka has done a lot for you that you at least consider. Jonathan took Emeka to that party. Look at the kind of drinks. Everywhere was filled with drinks that he was willing to pay. And Emeka was just sitting down there being so sad. This is, in fact, Emeka is supposed to cut ties with Jonathan. You can't call this kind of person your friend. It is very, very bad to do this. Emeka sat down there and Jonathan, was making a phone call in front of Emeka where a girl was requesting for 700,000. And of course, Jonathan has the money, right? He said, I'm going to send the money to you. Don't worry. I'm going to send the money to you. So Jonathan has enough money to send to people, but cannot give Emeka 300,000 naira. Emeka was so surprised. Please, I don't want to drink. Just give me this money. Give me this money. Let me go and save my mother's life. And Jonathan keep on insulting Emeka that you are not a human being. You are not a man. You are lazy. You are that. Even though, again, like I said, even though Jonathan might be thinking that if I push Emeka up a little bit, Emeka will begin to pick up his pieces and start, behaving like a man, hustling and all that. But then, this has to do with the mother. Why can't you just release this money? You have more than enough. Jonathan refused to give Emeka this money. And it was so sad. I feel sorry for Emeka at this point, that you have a friend like Jonathan, but he cannot even assist you in this little way that you would have wanted. But so unfortunate that while Emeka was coming down, looking around, walking, begging other people to help him raise money to save the mother's life, he got a call from the hospital that the mother is dead. Emeka has just lost his mother because Jonathan refused to borrow him money. Even though it is not Jonathan's responsibility to take care of Emeka's mother's medical bills, but at least as a friend, he would have just assisted this young man. He was so broken. He was so broken. No wonder this guy has so much hate for his friend Jonathan. He was really so broken that the person that he trusted could not help him on a time like this. And Debbie was so surprised. Like, you mean Jonathan did this? Oh, yes. Jonathan did this and more. He went on to tell Debbie a lot of things that Jonathan, in fact, if all these things are true, Jonathan has really done so bad. Not just that, Emeka saw Jonathan while he was walking and he was very sorrowful, crying for the mother's death, And when he stopped, he asked him, where are you going? What is happening? Have you been able to raise money for your mother's medical bill? You better don't allow your mother to die. But shockingly to us, when Emeka told Jonathan that my mother is already dead, Jonathan could not even show any sign of remorse for what he did. He rather asked, when is the burial? Even when Emeka told him, I don't know when the burial is going to come up because I'm still trying to hustle and know how I'm going to raise money to bury my mother. Emeka was still insulting Jonathan. You are not a man. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. Come on now. I thought this guy was your friend. What is going on here? I don't understand. Is this how you treat your own friends? Is this your own definition of friendship? I don't understand. And then, shockingly for us, Jonathan was willing to give Emeka 3 million naira for his mother's burial. But Jonathan could not give Emeka 300,000 naira to save the mother from dying. Now you are telling the same Emeka that the mother will be so disappointed even in her grave for having his son like Emeka. What do you expect Emeka to do? Emeka will grow more anger and hatred towards you because you, on the other hand, has failed him as a friend. Emeka asked Jonathan, so you are willing to give me 3 million naira for my mother's burial? And Jonathan was not like, what are friends for? I'm going to do that. Once it's ready, let me know. And Emeka was so shocked at Jonathan's response. So Jonathan is willing to give me this money. But then, Jonathan did not only give Emeka 3 million, he ended up spending 4 million naira for Emeka's mother's burial. Whereas all they needed for that woman to stay alive was just 300,000. That is pure wickedness. At some point, I'm beginning to feel like what Emeka is doing right now is good. Jonathan needs to at least be taught a lesson, not to underestimate other people or treat them bad because you are sitting on top of money. While Hans was trying to have some conversation with his private investigator, the guy told him something that was very striking. Now the little girls' naked videos that was they were trying so hard to prevent from going out there in the public domain, it's already there. Everybody can actually see it, And Hans was very worried, like he was so surprised that this whole thing is happening. I mean, who posted this? Who posted it? Because at this point, it's no longer about Hans, it's about Benny. Who is doing this to this little girl? Everywhere, including her street, they have her pictures everywhere. That is not fair. And Hans says to himself, I am going to get to the root of all this. Whosoever is behind this, I am going to get to the root of this because that girl is innocent. This is what hatred can cost people. Hatred can cost you. When you treat people bad, they might in turn fight against you. We should learn to make sure we treat people nicely so that we don't create enemies without even knowing it. You can see that Emeka went as far as paying somebody to do this dirty job. He paid this young man to post this picture. You can see this. This is the same man that is always doing the cybercrime work everywhere. They had to pay him to do the job. When Hans' private detective came in with his men to arrest the young man, even though he was not even resisting the arrest, he was very happy. He knows what he's doing. He got arrested and was taken to the police custody for questioning because he need to prove. Let him at least tell us who paid him to do this evil job. But then when Hans, was at home, he received this same call from his private detective that somebody has been arrested and they are going to question. He was very happy. In fact, he was celebrating with the mother because this is what they have been looking for a very long time. And the mother was so happy that at this point they have an edge. They can question this young man, and from there they are very certain that the young man is going to bring informations that will prove or bring other people or expose other people that are really behind this whole thing. But this game is going to be so bad for Jonathan because at the end of the day, the whole finger is pointing towards Jonathan, which is not even nice. And Hans said to his mom, I need to eat. Bring me food. I need to eat because I'm happy. But when this guy was being questioned, he was beginning to reveal secret that made everything look like Jonathan did. Jonathan does not even have money to pay this man, right? He does not have money to do that. But the young man, based on what Emeka told him, he said that the person who came to pay him to do this job said that the girl is my daughter. I am trying to teach her a lesson. You can imagine. So if you are going to follow that route, it means that Jonathan is the one doing this to the daughter. How can a father do this to the daughter? It is not possible, But then that is the information that Emeka gave so that just peradventure something like this come up, as if he was already preparing for a day like this, Emeka will be set free while Jonathan will be the one that will be held captive. You can imagine how people can really sit down to plan evil. And the young man told Hans, you know what? I want you to at least stay away from this whole thing. Leave this family alone. Let them just stay, and do their stuff. Allow them to do it. Let them handle it. But Hans said he's never going to stop. He's going to do everything possible. As long as it has to do with Clara, he cannot let it go. He's going to fight Jonathan with everything that he has. You know that when it comes to Clara, Hans is not always trying to, stay back. He's always at the forefront, making sure that Clara is okay. But there's no way, there's nothing he can do. You can't even convince him right now because he already know what he wants. He came back home and was trying to tell the mother everything that happened. And the mother also supported the young man please stay away from this family. Allow them to handle this matter amicably as a family. All right, let them find out. But according to him, he's not going to let that happen. He's going to deal with Jonathan. That is why I said that Jonathan is in another trouble that he knows nothing about. Now he has lost his car, he has lost everything, he's owing somebody. In fact, everything is just done. Another problem is cooking up somewhere again for Jonathan. How is Jonathan ever going to escape from this? Because Clara will not want to have anything to do with Jonathan if she discovered that Jonathan did this according to the news. And of course, the daughter will not believe. In fact, she will not want to have anything to do with Jonathan as well. Because I cannot have a father that will do this to me and then you still call him your dad. So Jonathan is going to eventually lose everything. He has lost one of the precious things that he has, which happens to be his car, and now he's about to lose his entire family. It's just so unfortunate that little mistake can actually cost you a lot of things. Now, Hans, please, you need to find out. What we want Hans to do is to make more investigation and not just to act immediately, so that he does not end up putting himself into another trouble. Yes, Hans needs to be very, very careful with the way he's handling this whole thing, just like what the mother has said to him. Do not just step into it and start doing things on your own. You need to take precautions so you don't put yourself in another trouble. But we'll get to find out about more on the next episode. Please like the video if you have not liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, or bring the next episode as far as you drop. But for now, take care.